Hi, my loves. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Marsella, and on this channel, I teach women how to become their highest selves. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to subscribe. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'm so happy to have you here with me. Today, we are going to be discussing how to stop being a perfectionist. I was a perfectionist for many years, so I'm very qualified to speak on this topic. A perfectionist is someone that sets unrealistic goals for themselves. And to take it a step further, not only do they set unrealistic goals for themselves, if they do manage to achieve the goal, they only end up setting new goals for themselves. So they just keep moving the goalposts. This can be very discouraging and can often lead to burnout. So today we're going to be discussing 5 ways to stop being a perfectionist. Number 1. Acknowledge that it is toxic behavior. It took me many years to realize that being a perfectionist was actually toxic. Society has a way of applauding the perfectionist. And to be honest, it makes a bit of sense. Perfectionists often do have really admirable traits. They're hardworking, and you can depend on them. Not only that, they usually value excellence and have a superb attention to detail. So on the surface, you could see why being a perfectionist is something that someone would strive to be. But if we look deeper, we can see that these traits are not actually coming from a positive, healthy place. For a lot of perfectionists, this toxic behavior actually stems from their childhood, whether it was from parents that set high standards for them, teachers that did the same, or friendships that they wanted to create. Perfectionists became hyper-focused in excelling so that they could meet the needs of their current reality. Maybe as a child, they really craved the approval of their parents, so they worked extra hard to get straight A's, even if they were stressed the entire time. Or maybe they struggled with finding their own identity, so they took on the persona of a perfectionist in order to attract new friends. When you begin to peel back the layers, you're able to see that being a perfectionist often stems from unhealed and unresolved traumas. But this awareness is actually the first step in the healing process. When you're able to redefine what perfectionism is and you're honest about how it has impacted your life, you take your control back, you take your power back, and you can now commit to finding a better way to live. We can still accomplish everything that we've set out to accomplish. We can excel in school and at the office, but it doesn't have to be at the expense of our well-being. We can show up for others without neglecting ourselves, and we can be good to people without having to be perfect people. The second way to stop being a perfectionist is to accept your flaws. There is not a single soul on this planet that is perfect, no matter how much they've accomplished, no matter how smart they are. Perfection is not real. Perfection is an idea, and oftentimes it can be an opinion. What's perfect for me may not necessarily be perfect for you. And this is why being a perfectionist is so exhausting. Not only are you trying to dot every I and cross every T, you're trying to show up for everyone all the time. And that is a sure way to burn out. There's a deep fear that perfectionists have of making mistakes. While on some level they understand that mistakes are part of life, on another level they truly want to skip that process altogether. So oftentimes they overthink and they nitpick everything about themselves. But mistakes are actually our greatest teacher. They're the best opportunities that we could ever have. It's as if life teaches us personal lessons that aid us in our growth. This is why accepting our flaws is so important, because it signals to life that we accept ourselves and we're willing to learn all that life has to teach us. Our flaws are our opportunities. All that we are and all that we will ever become will stem from how much of ourselves we can accept. If we can accept our flaws, we will go very, very far. The third way to stop being a perfectionist is to execute quickly. With a perfectionist, they have to see the full picture before they ever get started. In their minds, they create the entire journey from start to finish, and they have an idea of what they want it to look like. They'll spend days, weeks, months, years even, drawing out a plan for how they're going to execute. But as time passes, they continue to nitpick and they continue to change things in the plan. This prolongs the process and ultimately delays them from executing. In order to stop being a perfectionist, you have to understand that done is better than perfect. As we've just discussed, we are not perfect. And so inherently, our work will not be perfect either. And that is fine as long as it is effective. So effective should be the metric that we're actually after, not perfect. When you execute quickly, you actually take yourself out of the state of ruminating. It forces you out of your head and into your hands. When you work with your hands and you're present in your body, you're then able to create and bring things into fruition. It also creates the perfect opportunity to learn. In life, there are some things that you just cannot know ahead of time. You will have to learn as you go. The more you practice learning as you go, the better you get at it. Not only do you get better at the task that you're performing, you get better at executing. And that in and of itself is a skill. I can only imagine how many talented people there are on this planet that we have yet to meet because they will not execute. How many talented composers, artists, actresses, pianists, right? How many talented people there are on this planet that we have yet to meet because they will not execute. They're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect song, the perfect role. But wouldn't any role could they take be perfect? If it means us meeting them, this is why it's important to execute quickly. You're able to reach the people that you're meant to reach. The fourth tip to stop being a perfectionist is to learn how to delegate. Learning how to delegate teaches the perfectionist how to let go of control. It can be quite jarring for a perfectionist to go from controlling every single minute detail to now having to let go of control. The way to do this is to begin to share some of your workload. Begin to share some of your responsibilities with people that you trust. That could look like asking a coworker to take on a project, or that could look like asking your partner for help with something. Even if you would be able to do this on your own, learning to ask others for help gives you the opportunity to not only trust them, but to trust yourself. In order to stop being a perfectionist, you have to learn how to trust your own judgment. Maybe it is better for your coworker to pick up that assignment. Maybe you would be better off using that time elsewhere. When you learn how to delegate, you now are able to wield a new power, your true power, and that is being able to execute at a high level. Sometimes that will look like you executing, other times that will look like others executing on your behalf. And the fifth way to stop being a perfectionist is to focus on the big picture. The question every perfectionist needs to ask themselves is, what is my why? Because a perfectionist wants everything to be perfect, it's so easy for them to get lost in the details. It's easy for them to get lost in the insignificant and for them to focus on things that really don't matter that much. When you focus on your why, you're really able to get to the heart of what it is that you want to do. What are you willing to overlook on your way to getting everything it is that you want? When you focus on the big picture, you're able to think more clearly and have a more streamlined approach. Think about the impact that you want to have, the people that you want to help, the message that you want to come across. That should be your focus. That should be your metric. And so long as you've achieved that, you've won. So I hope this video was helpful today. I know how difficult it can be to unlearn some of these habits because perfectionists have often been that way for years. So give yourself grace as you go through this process. Let me know in the comments which tip you're going to implement first. If you've made it to the end of the video, thank you, and be sure to subscribe. We'd love to have you become a part of the family. Until next time, my loves, take good care of yourself. Bye.